Breaking news.
Well, we want to get back out to that breaking news that we've been following from our newsroom of a plane flying from Wichita. We know that it has crashed into a helicopter in Washington, D.C. Right now, you're taking a live look from that scene. We know the flight number is Flight 5342 out of Wichita. This is a Bombardier CRJ-7 jet that holds around 62 to 78 people. The Federal Aviation Administration, which says the collision remains under investigation right now. There's no immediate word on any casualties, but we know that takeoffs and landings from the airport near Washington have been halted at this time. And right now, Michael Schwenke joining me now with more information about this.
Yeah, Rachel, watching all news sources, of course, a lot of reporting out of the D.C. area, and we're hearing from people out there as well, saying that the full-scale search and rescue operation is underway. Okay, we're welcoming in viewers now on Channel 12. If you've seen the reports, there has been a plane inbound into D.C., but that plane originated here from Wichita.
Right.
It was an American Airlines flight 5342. Getting reports now from the FAA that this, and here's a live look outside of Reagan International Airport there in D.C., and you can see all the emergency crews there along the river, again, in a search and rescue operation right now. There is video that we're hoping to get here soon showing this plane colliding with what they believe was a helicopter. Ross Jansen joining us again here as rescuers operate in frigid water. But Ross, you were saying the weather tonight there fairly mild for this time of year.
Yeah, I mean the temperature right now is about 50 degrees in D.C. And just to kind of show you a map of Reagan National Airport, of course we have the Potomac River here, and there are 3 different runways there. The most common one that gets used is the one that we've highlighted in yellow because it's over a mile long, and it basically runs due north and south. But the plane was coming in on this shorter runway. It's just a little bit shorter than a mile long, and so the collision would have happened just off the edge of the runway. Again, we know that this is a water rescue, but the water temperatures, I just was able to look and see, most of the water temperatures are in the 30s, so it wouldn't take very long for hypothermia to set in. So this is going to have to be a quick recovery rescue effort. Should still be probably a rescue effort, not necessarily recovery, but as the night goes on, you know, it's probably going to become a recovery effort because the water is just too cold.
You're watching 12 News at 6.
What happened?
Oh my God!
Tragically, last night, a mistake was made.
We have been told that there are no survivors.
We are going to get to the bottom of this investigation.
Lord, we cry out right now for those that are affected by this tragedy.
Welcome in. We begin with a live look at the Potomac River where that American Airlines plane that left Wichita crashed into an Army helicopter last night. Today, confirming 60 people and 4 crew members on that passenger plane are believed to have died, as well as 3 people aboard the helicopter.
We do have Team 12 coverage tonight as we continue to learn more and get reaction from the community. But we first want to head over to Jacob Albrock, who will break down what we know so far. Jacob.
Rachel, Mike, that midair collision between the Army helicopter and American Airlines Flight 5342 is the country's worst aviation disaster in a generation. We've learned that dive teams have ceased operations because they've recovered all the bodies they're able to without moving that fuselage. At least 40 bodies have been recovered so far, including at least 1 soldier from the Army helicopter. But an FAA report obtained by the Associated Press says the staffing was, quote, not normal, and that 1 air traffic controller was working 2 positions at the time. The NTSB is leading the investigation into how the collision occurred. They spoke this afternoon and say their goal is to publish a preliminary report about the crash within 30 days.
We are all here because this is an all-hands on-deck event. And we're here to assure the American people that we are going to leave no stone unturned in this investigation. We are going to conduct a thorough investigation of this entire tragedy, looking at the facts.
She says a final report will be issued once all the fact-finding and investigating is finished.
Both the helicopter and the plane crashed in the river.
At this point, we don't believe there are any survivors.
And it's horrific and extremely rare and unprecedented.
What happened yesterday shouldn't have happened.
The goal is to get safety improvements. The safest airplane in the world is the one that doesn't fly.
Tonight marks 6 weeks since the tragedy involving Flight 5342. January 29th, 67 lives were lost when the plane departing from Wichita collided midair with an Army Black Hawk helicopter just seconds before it was scheduled to land at Reagan National Airport in Washington, D.C. This week, the NTSB releasing their preliminary report into their investigation. In that report, they call for action from the FAA to limit helicopter traffic around that airport. Over the next 30 minutes, our investigative team digs into those findings, what recommendations are being made, and what's next to make sure a tragedy like this never happens again. We start with reporter Sean Logging breaking down what the NTSB calls serious safety concerns at Reagan Airport.
A critical safety issue must be addressed without delay.
The NTSB laying out that there is still a lot its investigation has to learn about the mid-air collision of Flight 5342 from Wichita and an Army Black Hawk helicopter on January 29th.
The quickest part of the investigation is determining what happened. The part that takes longer is the how and why.
But making clear Tuesday, action is needed, detailing data it's collected of close proximity events at and near Reagan National Airport between planes and helicopters.
Half of the encounters we reviewed, again from 2011 through 2024, the helicopter may have been above the route altitude restriction.
Jennifer Hamady with the NTSB says at least once a month between 2011 and 2024, there was a traffic collision avoidance system alert requiring immediate action. And at Reagan National between October 2021 and December 2024,
there were 15,214 occurrences or close proximity events between commercial airplanes and helicopters,
with a risk of future collisions.
An intolerable risk to aviation safety.
The NTSB urgently recommends an end to a helicopter route east of Reagan National.
It shouldn't take a tragedy like this to occur. Unfortunately, one did, and so we are calling on action, but there clearly were indicators.
The preliminary report providing information on crew experience, history of the flights, and information from the recorders. The NTSB says those black boxes are where they still have a lot of work because of limits from the recorders on the Black Hawk.
Our team has a lot of work to do.
And those findings highlight the congested airspace around Reagan National has been a problem for years. It's why the NTSB is making two rare but urgent recommendations to the FAA to limit helicopters flying in that area. The first recommendation is to ban helicopters flying on Route 4, while two runways, 15 and 33, are being used for planes landing and taking off. So take a look at this map here. The NTSB wants to eliminate that highlighted helicopter flight path from Haynes Point, directly across the river from the airport, down to Wilson Bridge, while planes are departing and arriving. This is the same route the Army Black Hawk helicopter was on when it collided with Flight 5342 just seconds before landing. The second recommendation would be to find an alternative helicopter route when that segment of Route 4 is closed. The NTSB says they do not have an alternative route picked out, as that would be up to the FAA. But an aviation expert tells us this collision could have been avoided if these changes were made sooner.
We can't sit back and wait for a later report. We got to call it right now. We got to say there's action needed and hope that the FAA is listening and responds accordingly. But they're sounding the alarm right now, saying enough's enough.
The Department of Transportation did temporarily restrict helicopter traffic in that area immediately following the January 29th crash. On Tuesday, the DOT announced that they would continue with those restrictions while the NTSB waits to see if the FAA will make those permanent to avoid close encounters between aircraft and helicopters. Now, DOT Secretary Sean Duffy said having helicopters fly down the same path as landing aircraft is like threading a needle, and he questions why the FAA didn't make changes years earlier after thousands of reported close encounters.
How did the FAA not know? How did they not study the data to say, hey, this is a hot spot, we're having near misses, and if we don't change our way, we're going to lose lives? That wasn't done. Maybe there was a focus on something other than safety.
And now the NTSB is looking into busy airspaces not only around Reagan National, but other airports across the country. So here are the next steps in that investigation. The NTSB says it will include flight simulations, interviews, and evaluating data that was captured by the aircraft's electronics. But a final report is not expected for at least a year. When we return, our investigative team sits down with the NTSB to break down one of the key pieces of this investigation, the flight recorder.
Has been on the ground now since it came out of Kiowa County, went across Pratt County and started to really ramp back up. If we can give you an extra 15 or 20 minutes, it can save lives, and that's what we're all about tonight, is giving you as much time to prepare as the storm gets a little bit closer. Again, it's coming in on Plevna as we speak. There's a new scan just coming in on the radar, and you don't even have to be a trained meteorologist to get a feel for that's it. I mean, that's what we're looking at just southwest of Plevna. We've been seeing some pictures come in over the last 30 to 45 minutes showing some damage in the wake of this storm. We don't know exactly how extensive it may have been, but we're just south of Trail West Road. It's east of Sylvia, so if you're in Sylvia, you're watching this thing pass by to your east, but it's so close to Plevna, and it's unfortunate that Plevna could potentially take a direct hit tonight. So we hope that those of you in Plevna have sheltered.
Deal with another threat of severe weather today. Many are still talking about what we went through last night.
Some large tornadoes leaving behind damage in parts of the state, as you see right there. We do have Team 12 coverage of some of the areas hardest hit. That includes spots in Kiowa, Reno, and Gove counties.
It's in Gove County in northwest Kansas where we want to begin. The town of Grinnell took significant damage there, leaving many to clean up. Max Dutton took the trip up there today to see some of that damage firsthand and to talk to those who are helping out.
And it's the sound of trucks and crews today as that cleanup effort starts here in Grinnell. You can see behind me, these are just some of those 15 to 20 homes that were completely destroyed. Some of them even pulled off the slab of concrete altogether. Remarkably in this, there were no injuries despite the sirens on the south side of town not even going off. Law enforcement drove around town with speakers on their vehicles, warning people, trying to give as much notice as possible. Before the tornado reached Grinnell, it actually made its way across I-70 where multiple vehicles and semis also overturned, but that resulted in no injuries. Now the path of the tornado made its way out of Grinnell, leaving most of the homes on the east side of town completely intact. Despite the damage, the Grinnell community is banding together to start the cleanup process.
Just knowing that I can help, because I work out in this every day anyway, but just hope that we can at least bring some kind of hope back to them.
Things can be replaced, people can't. And it's amazing that no one was injured.
And if you would like to volunteer, you're told to go to the VFW to check in before you do anything else. That's what they're asking all the volunteers to do. It's also where they will be serving meals throughout this entire process.
I was actually in the bathtub.
It's pretty scary, and I'm not going to take the risk.
The whole roof was just sucked off.
Cars in the ditch, semi-trucks were overturned.
He got up out of the basement first, and he was screaming, "Oh my God, it's gone, everything's gone."
But I think the true blessings is from the people that are praying for us.
No EMS,
Nobody came.
no sheriff.
Nobody came for us. Nobody.
It was stormy.
Well,
it was really stormy.
Rain, there's hail, the wind's coming up.
Thunder and lightning, and it just wasn't good.
He said, "Get down here."
It's the loudest sound I've ever heard. It was intense.
It was a tornado coming through town. They said, "Come out, we need your help."
Destroyed the house,
and ripped off all of his clothing.
Everything on this block of this first half was gone.
I mean, and look at all that damage just all around it.
There were several families that were wiped out that night. Mothers, fathers, their kids.
It's just devastating.
So many people who were so young that night that were killed so violently and abruptly. It just breaks your heart to read that, even over 70 years later like this.
About 30 miles southeast of Wichita, you'll find the small town of Udall in Cowley County. It's home for about 700 people, and 70 years ago, it looked much different. It was home for oil field workers and homemakers, and when a tornado hit that night, everything changed forever.
Hi, are you coming down to the community building?
I didn't know there was a meeting.
Yeah, well, just hop on down right quick. This used to be the library. They're in the process of moving the tornado stuff over here. Okay. Thank you.
Sorry it took so long.
That's all right. We made it.
Yeah. We worked on this this was the 65th year, I think. We tried to get as many pictures of those who had perished in the storm. They took all the cars that had been damaged and they was in a row. Good morning, Bethine.
Good morning, I'm sorry.
You want to start? You're the oldest. Oh, okay. My name is Aline Kistler.
My name is Beth Evans.
So talk to us about, we're talking about the Udall tornado. Take us back to that day, what you remember leading up to the storm. You had made mention earlier that it was windy that day.
Yeah, it was windy, and my mother was helping host this bridal shower that was going to be in the community building. And I had wanted to go to the telephone office that night because I had gotten a chance to learn how to run the switchboard at the and so that I could work there part-time this summer. And my mother said, no, you are going to that shower with me because I need your help. So I pouted most of the day, but I went to the shower, fortunately, because the lady in the telephone office was killed.
May 25th, 1955, different warnings were issued for Kansas that day, and here we have the bulletins. At 12:35, warnings for eastern Kansas. By 4:36, central Kansas is included, but Udall was never included in the alert until 9:50 at night. At 10:15, TV meteorologists gave the all clear during the broadcast, saying all warnings had expired for the area. Many people went to bed. Yet 20 minutes later, at 10:35, the deadliest tornado in Kansas history hits Udall.
It was stormy.
Well,
it was really stormy because
the wind was blowing.
And there was thunder and lightning, and it just wasn't good. All of a sudden, these ceiling tiles, for a long time I didn't like tiles like this, they started falling here and there across the room, and the lights went out.
Everybody talks about going through a tornado and it sounds like a freight train. Are there any sounds that stick with you all these years later?
Oh, the sound of that was, it's the loudest sound I've ever heard.
It was intense.
Yeah,
it really was. Well, and see, we're right by the railroad tracks down here. Mm-hmm. And after the storm had passed and we're up there in this little cubby hole, ding dong, ding dong. And that thing went on forever.
Yeah.
Because it had evidently been put into action, and for a long time, that bothered me a whole lot.
The tornado turned out to be an F5, leveling the town. The stories continue to haunt the survivors to this day.
Right after the storm, if the weather would get bad, well, I was pretty uneasy. My dad always said, he said, the nature is just beautiful. Sometimes it gets to going a little bit faster than what we want, but the weather is our friend. And so he helped me in some ways.
In 1955, a big tornado outbreak in the Central Plains nearly wiped out the town of Udall. It would become the deadliest tornado in Kansas history, but what you may not know is the tornado itself actually started 40 miles south of here near Blackwell, Oklahoma.
Today's May 18th, 2025, and today would have been my brother Kyle's 27th birthday.
He is out here somewhere.
He went missing on December 17th, 2024, 6 months ago, right here where we're standing.
So you're somewhere out
There's
here.
so many cases in this state that go unsolved, and there's so many families out there that don't have answers or may never get answers. And we loved my brother. He was everything to my family, and we just want to know where he is.
You had me doing right.
These past few months, I mean, you can't even fathom the hurt that you go through until you experience it.
Come on.
We just want to find my brother, and we just want to bring him home. That's all we want. That's all we're asking for.
He's laughing. I remember Kyle's laugh. I remember it.
I don't think Kyle knew how much he meant to our family and how much I really cared about him and how much we all cared about him. If I could talk to my brother right now, I would just want him to know that I loved him and that we all are looking for him, and we're never going to give up looking for him.
Let him go.
Let him go. Let him go.
Happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday,
My daughter is brutally murdered. Somebody hurt her severely bad. I felt that from the day it happened.
A Kansas mother's fight to find answers in the death of her daughter pays off. Years after investigators ruled the teen's death a suicide, new evidence leads police to change it to a murder investigation.
Fact finder investigator Dylan Omeng uncovered new details in the case, looks at what's next, and talks to the family who seeks closure in the case of Brianna Gomez.
A short walk through Sunset Lawn Cemetery, and you'll find the final resting spot for Brianna Gomez Sharp. She's buried alongside her grandfather. It's a spot Brianna's grandma, Margaret, visits often.
There's nights and there's days where nobody's at home, and I'll just sit and cry for both of them, but especially for her.
There's no headstone, not yet. The family wants closure first and says there are too many questions about how she died.
We were afraid at first we might have to dig her back up.
It was April 26, 2011. Brianna was found unresponsive inside a friend's house in El Dorado. Brianna's mother, Shelley, will never forget the call she received.
My dad had called me and told me that I needed to get down to 14th Street, that my daughter was deceased, and I said no, and he said yes, you need to get down there as soon as possible.
Did anything stick out to you when you saw her?
No, just that it looked like her clothes had been torn.
We obtained a copy of Brianna's autopsy report. Her cause of death was listed as asphyxia by hanging and ruled a suicide. She was 17 years old. Here's what else it says. She reportedly had a verbal argument with her boyfriend that day, that she apparently broke a window of her boyfriend's car and then drove to her friend's house where she died. It also says she reportedly had increased depression since her friend's suicide months prior. But her mom says Brianna made her a promise.
I don't know what it was. She was scared of dying. And I knew that they were crazy because she had had a friend that done that, and she was like, Mom, that is so selfish. I don't know anybody that could do that, because I would never do that to you. I promise you that, Mom.
Here's what else stands out to Brianna's family: the details of how it happened. The report shows Brianna was found hanging with a bedsheet tied to a ceiling fan.
16 knots, or supposedly was tied in it. Okay, my daughter never even took the time to tie her shoes, but she's gonna sit at some house and just tie a sheet. Didn't make no sense to me.
I told her, I said, I know you didn't do this, baby girl. Grandma will get it solved before they put me in the cemetery.
The family refused to accept that's what happened to Brianna. For more than a decade, they fought for more answers, asking police to reopen the case. In August 2022, more than 11 years after Brianna's death, El Dorado police opened the case back up.
They called us and said that they had enough evidence to open back up her case, and they knew that it wasn't suicide.
This is what the police report now shows. Brianna's death now being investigated as a murder. This says modified. We shared that report to Brianna's mom as she read it for the first time.
Murder in the second degree, unknown circumstances. I knew it. And somebody's walking around, enjoying their life, and I'm sitting here with my 17-year-old daughter 6 feet under because some selfish person took her from me.
By October 2023, police wrapped up their investigation, and it was submitted to the Butler County Attorney's Office. Brianna's case is still under review. No charges have been filed. Next year will be 15 years.
Yes.
And you still don't know what happened to your daughter.
Still do not know. Nope.
But the family says they won't give up until that question is answered.
Mommy will put a tombstone down when I get justice, baby. I promise.
I just said, God, I give it all to you. You know that this needs to be solved, and I'm waiting. And there's a reason why you're making me wait, but I'll keep waiting till it's solved.
Now, here's where it stands now. El Dorado police resubmitted Brianna's case to the Butler County Attorney's Office. The county attorney telling us the case is now under review, but says to date no charges have been filed despite the change in that police report.
All right, so Dylan, we know the police report was modified to say second-degree murder. Do we know what evidence there is that was there to change that charge?
So we don't know that evidence, and the family does not know as well. What police found in their investigation is detailed in what's called a probable cause affidavit.
They're going through the toughest thing that they could.
Hey everyone. I'm doing good, just a little sleepy.
I always like to tell my patients, thank you for the teamwork.
Ring the bell 3 times well.
There you go, now you got
I decided that that was not going to define me. I am going to still be that fun, spunky person that I've always been.
You're watching a Fact Finder Deep Dive. I'm Keith Grant. This investigation is led by Dylan Domang. He's speaking directly to a victim of sexual abuse involving a Wichita church. We're continuing our investigation into sexual abuse allegations involving a former student ministries director at Eastminster Church in Wichita. The church first alerted us to the situation back in early June. Since then, a man reached out to our Fact Finder tip line claiming he was abused by that same man before he ever worked in Wichita. That caller says he tried to warn Eastminster. He shared his story with Fact Finder investigator Dylan Domang, who has been digging into this case.
I'm 61. I'm still affected by this.
Robert Golden says it took time, even 45 years later, to realize the inappropriate sexual touching that Bodie Weiss did to him as a teenager.
So I never thought anything about him always wanting to hug, always wanting to spend alone time.
Was this just with young boys, or was this kind of with everybody?
Just boys.
Golden says at the time, Bodie was in college, but would come back to the church to preach. During that time, Golden says he and several boys shared their concerns about Bodie
with the pastor at the church.
He would talk to each one of us one by one. He pretty much said nothing to see here, and that was that.
Following that, Golden says for 25 years he only told his friends what happened with Bodie. That was until 2005, when while driving with his best friend, Bodie's name was brought up. They searched him and found he had been hired by Wichita's Eastminster and had been working as the student ministries director for 16 years.
Did it surprise you that he was still working for a church?
No, because even though when I was a kid I didn't know any better, as an adult I know how these guys operate. That's the perfect place for these guys to go and do what they do.
That's when Golden called the pastor at Eastminster at the time.
And I told him about his MO, at least the way as I saw it. What about the kids? The other kids, the other boys at the church. And I said, I have a couple of them here. He said, well, we'll look into it, but we haven't heard anything like that.
However, at that time, Eastminster did in fact know about one sexual harassment allegation made against Bodie 5 years earlier while working at the church. In this letter sent in June to its congregation, Eastminster admits that the first allegation against Bodie Weiss came in 2000. The letter also confirms in 2005, 2 men from Pennsylvania reported Bodie's inappropriate behavior. While the church says they did open an investigation, the allegations could not be substantiated, and Bodie continued to work at Eastminster until 2006.
He was really good. He had found a way to, to pull the wool over everybody's eyes.
Last summer, Eastminster hired Fact Finding Ministry, a third-party investigative team, after more sexual abuse allegations against Bodie were brought to light. That group found there to be 23 victims of abuse. While the church acknowledged that there was systemic failure in protecting kids against Bodie, Golden says he and others tried to warn the church.
I know how it's affected me, and at least 23 people, how it's affected them. And for the church to just say, my bad, and just move on, it does not seem right to me. Especially when I tried, I guess several people tried to give them a heads up.
All right, Dylan, great work there. You've been working on this story for a couple months now. Big news, though, now. You've received a direct response from Eastminster, which...
You act like you're shy, but you're not.
As far as her personality goes,
Cheese. Smile.
She is the most fun, full-of-life kid.
You guys are cheesers.
They do have energy like normal kids. There's nothing that's going to present on the outside except for, like I said, she has had the blue lips from time to time, blue hands where they lose color. She'll be full force playing, and then 2 seconds later, where'd Charlotte go? And she'll be laying right here on the couch or fall asleep randomly. Looking back, I'm like, man, there was a lot of signs I could have picked up on, but you just don't think oh, it could be something wrong with her heart.
Doctor checked my heart.
Doctor checked your heart. Is your heart okay?
You had to tell Mommy on my square.
Is your heart okay?
No.
No.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
No.
Oh, sissy.
I've had my days where I cry.
Yeah.
And cry and cry. I mean, you're going to. There's always those what if questions. There's always those, but ultimately, I do believe in the whole God will never put you through anything you can't handle. You want to read a book?
Yes.
Okay. You want to sit with Mommy? You want to sit with Mommy? So this book is called A Very Thankful Prayer. Every day I wake up with a thankful heart. I fold my hands and say a prayer. The perfect way to start. In October, we went in for what we thought was just, I don't want to say a routine hospital visit. Very dehydrated, so I was like, okay, I need to get on IV fluid. But they decided to get her admitted, and they said, we're going to go ahead and order some imaging on it. And I said, okay. So the next day, I'm in the hospital. They come in and do imaging. She did wonderful. They said, we'll get your results the next few hours. A couple of short hours later, the doctor walks in. He goes, hey, I do have some news for you. He said, there is a hole in her heart. It's called an ASD. It was measuring at the time 16 millimeters. And she also has something called pulmonary valve stenosis, which means narrow valve. After speaking with our Colorado doctor, they essentially said, we think it's in your best interest to go ahead and get this taken care of. Typically, they would wait for these procedures till kids are about 5 years old because they can do it via catheter. Unfortunately, due to her weight and size and a lot of other factors, like her hole being so large, catheter is not an option, and so she will be having open heart surgery on March 21st. I'm thankful for my family and their great big bear hug love. All good things are gifts from God. They are blessings from above. Oh my word. It changed her life, and it's not even been a full 5 months.
Jesus
I'm thankful for the friends I have. They like to laugh and play. Together we have special times that brighten up my day. She understands, I would say, a little bit, because she understands that if you ask her what her heart monitor is when she's wearing it, she's not at the moment, but she'll tell you it's her medicine. Since she is so smart, letting her know, like, hey, like, you know, doctor has to check on your heart, you have an owie, like, it's okay. And we've also made her older sister very aware too, because post-surgery, she can't climb for 6 weeks. At her age, and climbing includes getting up on couches, going upstairs. I'm thankful for the seasons, and I'm thankful God made fall. For his love that fills the earth, I'm thankful most of all. The end.
I can get us next. Hi guys, welcome in.
During a busy evening
Can I get chicken quesadilla?
on Wichita's west side,
What kind of margaritas can I get you guys today?
Do you want a medium or a large?
Here you go, sir. Thank you. And I'll be right back with that side of chips.
it was a bit unusual at Tacos TJ's.
It's gonna be $3.76.
It was very busy.
We were in the middle of trying to fix everything.
I'll be right back with the side of chips for you.
The line was outside.
We were worried that people were gonna have to leave and, you know, their dinner would be ruined.
We were waiting outside for a little bit before we were able to get inside, and then they had a wraparound line.
All Callie and her family wanted was that meal they'd been craving.
Everything is fresh.
Shrimp tacos are amazing.
And the birria tacos.
But those plans were put on
Yeah, those are going out next.
The cell system went down, so we were only taking cash.
Okay,
So I was really bummed. I was like, no.
They didn't have enough. No big deal. So they headed out. Yet they weren't alone.
Felt like they should come on in and have some tacos, so I followed them out and just, gave them a $100 bill. And
I was like, no way. No. And then he said, yes, dinner is on me tonight. And I was like, thank you so much. I said, here, we have $20 cash. You have Venmo. I can Venmo you. And he was like, no, don't even worry about it.
I was like, what's the catch?
Well, there wasn't one.
I'll take 2 of those without onions or cilantro, please.
Could I add lettuce and cheese to that?
When we gave him the change back, he walked to the line and tipped the staff.
I couldn't believe that strangers like that exist
We're
anymore.
just like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah. See, Callie was curious about that stranger, the man who is so kind. So she snapped this photo and posted it onto Facebook.
I wanted to see if anybody could recognize this guy, and it ended up blowing up, thankfully.
it surprised me a lot when I see the sheer volume of reactions on the Food and Boost post. It was really mind-blowing.
Have you ever had a time where you've needed that handout too, or like any inspiration behind that?
Yeah. When I was a young man, I grew up poor, and we grew up, sometimes we didn't have food, and we just went hungry. One time we didn't have a house. And a family took me in when I needed it the most, and they ended up finishing raising me until I, turned 18 and moved out on my own. And if they wouldn't have ever done that, I never would be in the place I am today, and I wouldn't have been able to help somebody out like that. So I owe everything to them.
So you really know the meaning of that.
I do.
He's caught the name Taco Hero on the internet.
Is that really what?
Yes, he has adopted the Wichita Taco Hero name.
Oh my gosh.
While the family was blown away by this moment, the restaurant also wanted to do the same with a surprise just for Jared.
Oh, come on. Free tacos for the rest of the year. Jared, Taco Hero certificate. Valid for free tacos. Get free tacos for the rest of the year 2025.
What do you think about Priscilla here? I was surprised too. I don't know if you were with
Free
what she did
tacos
here.
for a year.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
what
my
are you going to do
Lord.
now? Just hang out here all day?
I just eat tacos.
I get it.
I know where I'm going to be every Tuesday.
And for you, sir, what can I get for you? Jalapeno? I got you.
We just wanted to thank him, really, because I think he deserves it, even though he probably wasn't intending for this to have the impact that it did.
Thank you. That means a lot. It means everything to us, and we got to enjoy the best tacos ever, so thank you, Jared.
Oh, that's okay. All right, thank you. Gracias.
They're really great people. And you know what? If I had the chance to do it over again, I'd do it over again 100% of the time every day. I was glad I could help.
Aquí le tengo la saltapa.
In West Wichita,
Okay, gracias.
Annette Lawless,
Thank you.
12 News.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Yes, thank you.